Maybe you're lying beside someone in a dim, quiet room, the soft glow of city lights leaking through the curtains, while the warmth of another body rests right next to you. Yet you feel emotionally miles away, staring at the ceiling and silently counting invisible exits as your heart prepares for an escape it doesn't fully understand. Your chest tightens in that unmistakable way, breath becoming shallow, your ribs feeling subtly constricted, as though your entire nervous system has slipped into alert mode, mistaking stillness for threat and intimacy for something that must be carefully endured rather than enjoyed. You smile when you should lean in, offering rehearsed warmth instead of genuine presence, an emotional mask perfected over time, designed to soothe others while keeping your own tenderness hidden safely beneath practiced composure. You leave when things start to feel safe, not always physically, sometimes emotionally, disengaging from conversations or subtly withdrawing affection the moment stability appears, because peace registers as unfamiliar and therefore suspicious. The late night question inevitably returns. Why do I break the very connections I crave? Echoing through the quiet like a confession you can't say aloud, the longing for love colliding with a reflex to protect yourself from it. You aren't broken, you are patterned, shaped by a lifetime of emotional repetition where closeness felt conditional, affection arrived inconsistently, and connection always seemed one step away from disappearing. Closeness comes with a cost, the unspoken lesson learned early, that attachment demands vulnerability, and vulnerability risks abandonment. So every bond now feels like a soulful wager you learn to approach cautiously. So your mind built emotional armor long before you had the language for trauma, layering independence over longing, strength over softness, silence over emotional expression, constructing an inner fortress meant to protect your heart at all costs. The thing that once protected you now destroys your relationships. The armor that prevented emotional injury, eventually blocking emotional intimacy, safeguarding you from heartbreak while quietly sealing off the possibility of deep connection. Your nervous system reacts before your conscious mind can catch up. Body tension swelling, emotional retreat activating automatically, pulling you back from closeness even before your thoughts register what you are doing. In childhood, attachment forms based on emotional availability. Caregivers who were distant, inconsistent, overwhelmed, or emotionally absent, shaping the primal belief that emotional safety cannot be reliably found in others. The result becomes avoidant attachment, a coping style that trains you to crave intimacy while simultaneously fearing dependence, to walk toward relationships emotionally guarded, maintaining closeness without vulnerability. Hypervigilance emerges as the nervous system learns to scan constantly for emotional danger, analyzing tone shifts, interpreting silences as rejection, expecting loss even in peaceful moments. Emotional neglect, not being emotionally seen or responded to, leaves invisible wounds that whisper, "Your needs do not matter," encouraging emotional suppression, self-minimization, and silent coping rather than self-advocacy. When unmet emotional needs reach pressure, the heart seeking relief, self-sabotage surfaces, withdrawing instead of asking, provoking conflict instead of speaking gently, disappearing rather than risking emotional honesty. These patterns reshape the default mode network, the neurological fabric forming your sense of self, fusing identity with survival beliefs. I must be independent. I must not need anyone. I am safer alone. Until you make the unconscious conscious, Jung's words mirror reality. Unconscious emotional memory steering adult relationships while masquerading as personal destiny. Over and over, the cycle repeats, gravitating toward emotionally unavailable partners, losing interest when genuine commitment emerges, leaving precisely when intimacy deepens. Each repetition reinforcing the belief that love is unstable. Invisible grief accumulates. Grief for the connections never fully entered, the relationships halted before they bloomed, the love you were technically offered yet emotionally unable to receive. Authenticity trades places with emotional safety, honest emotional expression surrendered for stoic independence. where composure replaces vulnerability and boundaries become withdrawal instead of communication. If I let you see me, you can leave me. The core fear written into the nervous system, causing self-disclosure to feel humiliating, reassurance requests to feel childish, and emotional honesty to feel unsafe. You emotionally detach right when bonding deepens, pulling back as attachment strengthens, confusing emotional closeness with impending emotional danger, retreating when love becomes real. You avoid mentorship or emotional support, interpreting assistance as weakness, preferring solitary struggle over collaborative healing because connection still triggers vulnerability alarms. You equate hyperindependence with strength, celebrating self-sufficiency as virtue while quietly longing for emotional closeness that independence prevents. Inner child reparenting begins healing, meeting unmet emotional needs with compassion, validating vulnerability rather than suppressing it, offering the safety and emotional presence once lacking. Choose openness, choose vulnerability, choose to stay. The healing pivot, consciously stepping toward emotional connection instead of retreating into survival responses, dismantling armor piece by piece in the presence of safety.